Hey everyone, welcome. Today we're going to dive into an ancient fable from Aesop that, you'll see, has a surprisingly sharp lesson about a psychological quirk you've probably seen, maybe in others, or hey, maybe even in yourself. So, let's just start with a question to get the wheels turning. That reputation you have, is it a crown you've genuinely earned through respect and good character? Or is it actually a warning label that you've just decided to wear like it's a piece of jewelry? It's a tough question, for sure, but it gets right to the heart of what we're talking about today. And that topic is something called perverse pride. You know what this is. It's that strange, almost backward human habit of bragging about our own flaws. It's celebrating the very things that are basically signs we lack self-control. It's kind of like polishing your own handcuffs and showing them off. To really get a handle on this idea, we're going to turn to a classic fable that illustrates it perfectly. It's the story of a very mischievous dog and his rather unique accessory. Okay, so the story starts with this dog who was, to put it lightly, a total menace. He was just so ill-natured, always getting into trouble, that his master finally had to do something. The solution? A big, heavy wooden clog fastened around his neck to slow him down. A very public, very physical symbol of his bad behavior. But here's where the story takes a weird turn. You think the dog would be ashamed, right? Nope. He was actually proud of his punishment. He started dragging that clog around everywhere, making a huge racket. Not because he had to, but because he thought the noise and the attention it brought him was a kind of fame. He was confusing being infamous with being important. Finally, an old acquaintance sees him and just lays down the hard truth. This line is really the whole point of the fable. He's not impressed. He's basically asking, why on earth are you advertising your own disgrace? Do you want everyone to know you're a mess? It's that voice of reality just cutting right through the dog's delusion. So, what's the big takeaway for us? I mean, it's a story about a dog, but let's unpack how this little tale builds into a really powerful metaphor for human behavior. This fable is just a brilliant allegory. The dog, of course, represents our own ego when it's so desperate for significance that it'll take any kind of attention it can get. The clog? That's the penalty, the visible sign that we've messed up. And the old acquaintance? Well, that's the voice of society, of common sense, reminding us what that clog really means. And this perfectly illustrates the dog's central confusion. He can't tell the difference between being noticed and being respected. One is just about getting eyeballs on you for any reason at all, even for being a disaster. The other is about earning genuine, positive regard through your character and your actions. They could not be more different things. Which brings us to another really powerful question. Why do so many of us chase that loud, clattering noise of attention when the quiet, solid confidence that comes from integrity is so much more valuable? It's a deep question, one that makes you think about your own motivations and what you're really after. Now, this isn't just some dusty old story. This exact dynamic plays out all the time in our world, right now. So let's take a look at some of these real-world clocks. I mean, you've seen this play out, right? Someone boasts, I'm just brutally honest. But what people really hear is, I lack empathy. Or someone brags about their villain era, which doesn't sound edgy, it just makes them sound like a liability. And treating a write-up at work like it's some kind of badge of honor, all that does is scream untrustworthy. In every single case, a flaw is being paraded around like it's a strength. That is perverse pride in action. So, okay, we've identified the problem. What wisdom can we actually pull from the clatter of all these clogs? What can all that noise teach us? The lessons here are pretty profound when you think about them. That loud noise, it might just be the sound of someone rattling their own chains. Being known for your screw-ups isn't the same as being loved or respected for your virtues. That warning label you're wearing is not an invitation. At the end of the day, true wisdom isn't found in the weight of a clog, but in the freedom of having a light neck and a clear, open path in front of you. So how do we actually avoid this trap? Well, the source material offers some really powerful ideas for choosing the path that's free from the weight of all this perverse pride. It all starts with a simple shift in focus. Think of this as a mantra to guide you. It's about redirecting your energy. So, instead of chasing that loud, temporary validation you get from attention, you commit to pursuing the quiet, lasting respect that only comes from self-control and real character. And here it is. This is the core act of self-awareness. It's about being honest with yourself. A penalty is a lesson, not a trophy. A sign that you messed up is a call to reflect, not a reason to do a victory lap. Just recognizing that difference is the first, huge step to taking off the clog for good. The ultimate goal here is what the source calls the quiet neck. It's this beautiful idea of a state where your actions are so aligned with what's right that you don't even need any external restraint. You don't need a clog, because there's simply nothing to hold back. And you don't look for applause, because your validation is coming from the inside. And we're going to end with this final, powerful question for you to take with you. If no one was watching, no attention to be gained, positive or negative, would you still be proud of the things you do and say? That right there is the true test of integrity, and it's the path to leaving the clatter of the clog behind for good.